This training is going to talk about the detention system calculator. If you look here on the screen, it was originally developed to do storm tech systems, but over time it works the same for any system. It could be for concrete pipe, it could be for corrugated metal pipe, it could be for perforated, non-perforated, it could be for anything that holds water and is surrounded by gravel. As you can see here, there's quite a few pipe diameters, along with the lengths of the stick of the system. So if you look here, you have SC 740s, SC 310s, MC 3500s. So there's quite a few different storm tech systems. In addition, there's RCP and ADS systems here as well that you can use, and these are just the square footages of the different pipes, so you can put it into this calculator. So you can actually use anything for this. So there's quite a bit that goes into using this spreadsheet here. So the first thing that you'll want to do is get the proposed finish subgrade elevation from the plans. So don't confuse this with the proposed elevation. This is the proposed finish subgrade elevation, so where we stop our cuts and fills essentially. So in this case, you could say that proposed finished subgrade elevation is at, let's say, 110. The next thing that you'll want to put in is the top of the gravel elevation. A lot of times in plans, it actually shows the top of the gravel elevation or gives the top of gravel elevation. Other times, you actually have to go into the detail and look at this cross section, and you may have to do a little bit of work to get the distance above the chamber, or do some math to get the top of that. But you want to put the top of the gravel elevation in there. So that would represent this line right here is the top of gravel elevation. So in this case, we're going to say it's buried roughly 2 feet below the surface at 108. The next thing we need is the bottom of gravel elevation. So that would actually be this elevation. So a lot of the times that will be, they'll give that as well in there. But in this case, we're going to go ahead and assume that the bottom of gravel, a lot of times it's 6 inches below the chamber or whatever, but we're going to assume that the bottom of gravel elevation in this scenario is at 103. The next thing that you want to do is most storm tech chambers are rectangular. So you want to put the width of the system in there, which could be 25 feet, let's say, and the length of the system, which is 100 in the example that we're going to use here. You can change the slope of the system because it's not going to be just straight up like this. It's almost always going to have gravel loss going off to the side. We usually keep it at about a 1-to-1 to give us the extra gravel that we need. The next item that you need to put in is you want to get the square footage of the pipe. So this is a storm tech, but like I said before, it could be any of these items. It could be ADS or RCP. In addition, there's a couple of other tools here where you could put, let's say you get a different type of pipe and you're not sure what the square footage of that pipe is. You could, let's say it was a really big one, like 6 feet, then it'll give you the square footage of the pipe here. Or let's say that you have a storm tech, but it's not actual storm tech, it's some sort of off-brand. But you have the width of the chamber, and maybe that's in feet, and let's say 3 feet wide, and it's 2 feet tall, and it's elliptical like this. This will give you the square footage of an elliptical alternative for storm tech. So you can get, basically using these calculators, you can use them to get any square footage of any pipe that you want. So in this case, we're just going to assume that it's an SC 310, and which we know is down here. So square footage of an SC 310 is 3.2 square feet. I'm just going to use that chart down there to get it. The next thing that we're going to do is you need to know how many feet of pipe or how many feet of storm tech there is. You can get that in a couple of ways. You can actually, on Plan Swift, do linear foot of all the storm tech in there, or you can count up the chambers. So the easiest way, if you have a SC310, let's say you have 40 chambers. Well, this tells us that the length of that chamber is 7 feet. So here you could actually say equals 7 feet times 40 chambers, which would mean we have 280 feet of pipe. So you can do it both ways. You can count the chambers, or you can just get a linear footage of all the chambers and do it that way as well. One quick note is if you have a detention system that is not rectangular, let's say it's got a bunch of ins and outs and it's really messed up and it doesn't follow a particular rectangle, or it's just kind of got a weird shape of it. You can actually get the area of the StormTech system and off of Plan Swift. And let's say that this area of the StormTech system is 5,000 square feet. That means it's a 71 foot by 71 foot square equivalent. And you could actually put the 71 feet in the width and the 71 feet in the length. And that'll give you the same amount of gravel and backfill and everything for that system, even though it's not exactly a rectangle. So if you ever get one that's weird shaped, just use this calculator, put in the square footage, and it'll tell you what weight, width, and length to put in there. So once you get all that information in, everything else is calculated for you. It'll tell you in this case that we have to excavate 900 cubic yards. The gravel around the StormTech systems, in between them, or around the concrete pipe, or around the corrugated metal pipe, or the perforated pipe, or whatever, is 555 cubic yards of gravel. The backfill above the gravel, so a lot of times there's dirt sitting on top of it, almost every time there's dirt sitting on top of it, that you got to backfill to get back up to finished subgrade. That quantity is 312 cubic yards, so you're going to have to actually put some native material or maybe import above the system. That's 312 cubic yards. Fabric. Usually around all StormTech systems, there is fabric that goes all the way around the gravel. Top, bottom, left and right, on all the sides. And that's 764 square yards, not square feet, but square yards around the whole system. And then you also want to know the square footage of the base of the system, because even though you dig it out, a lot of times they slope or you got to clean up the base. So this will give you the square footage of the base of the system, so you can go in there and put in a crew to clean that up. If you have multiple systems, you can have up to, looks like quite a few here, up to 10 systems. I've never seen that, but you can. Then it'll give you totals down here for all of the systems. And you can put them all into one, maybe if they're all the same chambers, or you may want to do them separately, depending on the needs of the bid. And that's how the detention system calculator works.